Welcome everyone to the August 2025 update for the Susquehanna and Hudson River Railway. My name is Bob Stafford. I picked up the nickname of Trainmaster Bob at work. In the past 5 weeks, more progress has been made on the layout. At Wilkes-Barre, Lou has torn out all the trackage that served the Keystone cement mill on the former layout. He also removed the addition made for the cement mill's coal unloading track. This was foam with no plywood under it. After a dozen years, the foam was beginning to give in to gravity and was sagging. In the main room, Lou and Joe have installed the plywood roadbed for the spur to the run-of-mine coal loadout at Moosic. Joe and I worked on cutting the hole for the Walthers 90-foot turntable pit. I replaced the hard drive in my laptop computer. I couldn't get JMRI Decoder Pro to work after downloading it. Jim Betz drove down from Burlington to figure out the problem. It was the version of Java that I had downloaded. He updated the Java to the correct version, and we collaborated to adjust the speed of my engines to a more reasonable starting and top speed range. The SNHR is a 35-mile-an-hour railroad, not the Santa Fe Transcon Speedway. I needed to restrict the speed of the engines. Afterwards, I spent an entire day reprogramming the rest of the locomotives. All the locomotives I plan to use in the layout now have been speed updated. Alex Burkhoff speed matched 2 sets of Verilog 1 ABAF units for me while I was without my laptop. These will be used to power the trains from Richards to Jersey City and Maybrook. In the future, these will replace with Alco FA ABA sets. Lou has been building more fast track turnouts for us to use as we install new trackage. The effort in the coming weeks is as follows. To get the coal breaker trackage installed at Wilkes-Barre. Walthers mine is a temporary stand until I can scratch build an anthracite coal breaker for the site. Building new benchwork to replace the sagging foam that was torn out. At Moosic, installing the siding and the spur trackage to the coal loadout. The spur will have 2 double-ended tracks, 1 each for loaded and empty coal cars. And installing the trackage for the engine terminal. This will give us space to store our road power and local power between their assignments. It will no longer be necessary to remove the locomotives from the layout. Once the trackage has been installed, the big job of wiring all this new trackage begins. Wilkes-Barre will require a complete rewire. The wiring is now 15 years old. I will remove the wiring from the drop-down feeders from the track, reconnect everything to the terminal strips on the front of the layout, replacing the suitcase connectors on the main feed from the circuit breaker. Sound rail is in March, and we are moving forward since we are hosting the layout for this event. Joe and I are working over here. We put the turntable pit in. The turntable pit actually took up more room than anticipated, so it required moving the main line over. So the main line used to be here. Actually, the passenger main used to be here. Now you can see the roadbed where you had to move the passenger main over to clear it, because the Kutztown branch will be coming off here, and then the Kutztown branch will be going off that way to the other side of the backdrop.
A little bit easier with wood chisel.
It is.
This kind of comes right off.
This is the location of the Russell breaker. There'll be 3 tracks going down under the Russell breaker, and I need to scratch build a building to go here for an anthracite coal breaker, so this Walthers kit is just a temporary fill-in. And then Lou took the sagging foam off of the front of the layout here, and we're going to frame this in and put plywood in here and replace this. And this is going to be where the run of mine coal is going to be arriving on an unloading track here and then going on a conveyor up into the breaker. As you see, we have a big mess from all the work we've been doing.
Little demo.
Yeah, Lou, you want to tell us what you did?
No.
No? Well, this is what Lou did right here. Took this piece off. This was all made out of foam. Probably did this about 10-12 years ago. And didn't have any plywood under it, and the foam just started to sag. So we had to
You rotate
rip
it so you
this.
can see the bottom.
Yeah, so we had to. Like so, yeah. So started to sag without the plywood under it. Lesson learned: always put plywood under your foam, or it's going to sink. Well, that wraps up this layout update. The operating videos were in April. My guys and I, we had a shakedown run, operating session. Went out and I bought JMRI round red stickum labels. And the idea was if you found any kind of a defect on any of the track, wiring, cars, whatever, to put a label on it and fill out on the label what was wrong, so we could follow up and go around and start fixing the items that need to be fixed as they were being identified. So we found several things that we've gone back over and redone, fixed. We fixed some cars that were derailing. So it was a good operating session, and that we found what needed to be done. It was the first time the crew had really started to do some operating, and most of these guys are brand new at operations. So, hope you found this enjoyable and useful. So, until next time, this is Bob saying so long, and remember, model railroading, we got the best hobby in the world. Bye.